Hello, my name is Sydney, and I will be covering the sea level rise in the Marshall Islands. And some of the topics that I will be presenting today would be the current status of the Marshall Islands, what is causing the sea level rise, some of the risks that it's facing, other projections and solutions for it as well. So starting with the current status, the Marshall Islands have a higher rate of sea level rise than the global average. And if you want to look at this chart right here, looking at the light blue lines specifically, that shows satellite data that has started since 1993. And this right here shows that the projections of it have been increasing by 0.3 inches every year. Some other current statuses of the Marshall Islands is that the temperatures have been increasing, and some of the data that I found on the two islands, Majuro and Kwajalein, have started since the late 1950s. And with the temperatures increasing, Majuro has increased on an average of 0.22 degrees Fahrenheit, whereas Kwajalein has also increased 0.36 degrees Fahrenheit every decade. And lastly, in this time frame, the rainfall has also been decreasing as well. And following along with the causes, two of the major causes of sea level rise would be from the glaciers melting and the ice sheets melting as well. That's become one of the larger contributions of this problem, and that's been one that's a global problem as well. And over here, I also have a diagram that explains that basically how the water temperatures increasing also expands the water, which is also due to the sea level rise as well. And then some of the risks, two of the major ones would be flooding and drinking water. With flooding, they have become more frequent and intense within years. And with that being said, that's causing shoreline erosion. And one of the projections would be that 40% of the existing buildings would be flooded in Majuro. And furthermore, some of the other data that I've found, 96% of the buildings would be facing frequent flooding as well. Following with that, the drinking water has become a huge risk because a lot of the islands depend on aquifers, and with the floodings becoming more frequent, the aquifers have become contaminated with salt water, and that has become a big risk for everyone. Some of the projections that I have found with the sea level rise and the climate, you can see with the sea level rise the different scenarios right here with every year. And in a low emission scenario where we're really working hard to fix the sea level rise, you can see that still in 2030 there is a projection of sea level rise to increase by anywhere between 1.6 to 5.9 inches. And if we were to just leave it alone in a high emission scenario, you can see that by the year 2090 that sea level could rise by 2 feet. And by 2030, the expected climate is to increase by an additional 0.4 to 1.0 degrees Celsius. And the annual rainfall is expected to increase overall in this region of the world throughout the 21st century, which would be bringing wetter, wet seasons than normal. Some of the solutions that I have found would be reducing carbon, which would slow sea level rise, moving people off the island, which would become inevitable anyways, and restoration projects for it as well.